I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back these feelings for so long. But if you feel like I feel, baby, come on, whoa, come on. Hey, let's get it on. Let's get it on. Hey, what's up, guys? Today is September 22nd, which means it is the first day of fall, which means breeding season is upon us. That's right, the leaves are falling and love is in the air. I'm gonna get these rams and goats into this enclosure, and I'm gonna tell you some of our breeding tips for this year. We got some exciting things, some new things we're doing here at the farm. We'll let you in on it. All right, so I'm over here with two of our rams. Behind me, I've got Creole and Rupert. So Creole is going to be the breeding ram this year for our Harlequin sheep. If you watched our videos last year, we used a ram named Paul to breed most of our flock. And unfortunately, Paul was attacked by some neighboring dogs in my dad's house just a few days ago, and they actually killed him. So pretty disappointed. We have actually lost two of our really high quality breeding rams this year. One back in the spring to kind of a rare disease, and then now Paul to some neighbor dogs, which my dad is dealing with, getting those taken care of. But we are going to use Creole, who is a seed generation ram this year. He's a really good ram. He's got a really good structure. He's really spotted. The only thing we don't like is he doesn't have blue eyes. Paul had blue eyes and passed that on to most of his offspring, but luckily a lot of our ewes do have blue eyes, or they're blue eye carriers, so it's still a possibility that they could pass it on to their offspring, just not as high of a probability not having the ram with blue eyes. So a little bit of a downer, but we're still really excited because Creole's a really good size. Paul was a little bit bigger, Creole is smaller, and with miniature sheep, the smaller the better, so Creole is gonna throw us some good babies this year. The gestation period for a sheep is about 150 days. It can actually go from 147 to 153. Most of the time it hits about 150. So 150 days from the successful breeding date is when your lambs are going to be born, or when they should be born. We've had some be born a little bit early, not optimal, but usually they're right at that 150 day mark, almost exactly. So some of the things you want to consider whenever you're deciding when to start breeding your flock is temperatures. You don't want them to be born too early. It adds a degree of difficulty for you as the shepherd or as the caretaker, because whenever they're born in cold climates, you have to have some heat sources, you have to do some things, and you really have to keep a close eye on them because you want to make sure that they're not being born outside in the cold. We have had plenty of sheep be born in below freezing temperatures and even in the snow. And believe it or not, most of them actually make it, but it's a lot of stress and it adds a lot of extra work for you as the caretaker of those animals. So for us, the climate is important. We don't want them to be born too early. We also don't want them to be born too late, because as you get into the spring, you start battling a lot more parasite loads. So if that ewe hasn't recovered from the birthing process and she starts getting into parasites, then that can be dangerous both to her and to the lamb. For us, the most important thing on our farm is that we start taking mission trips in mid-March, so we know that we want our lambs to be born before that, if at all possible, so that they're born, they're on the farm, so when we're out of town, we can have somebody come take care of them. But it's really hard to have somebody come take care of animals during the birthing season. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be pretty stressful, and although we've had it done before, it's not optimal. So we want our lambs to be born late February, early March, if at all possible. So today is September 22nd. So if we let our rams in on October 1st, we're gonna go October, November, December, January, February, March. 5 months, 150 days is right at the beginning of March, right at the end of February, which is gonna be perfect for our farm. Now, something we're gonna do this year so that we can make sure we know when the ewes are being bred is we're gonna use one of these marking systems. This is called Marking Mate. We are not sponsored by this product. I actually got this product for free from my dad, is the reason we are using this brand. I don't have any expertise about this. I don't even know how to put it on. But I do know that knowing when the ewes were bred is valuable information for me. It's going to help us decide how to split our flock if they're bred at different times. It's going to let us put on the calendar when the lambs should start being born, so we can put those ewes into isolation or get them out of the elements if needed. So it's just going to be really important for us to know. So this is a crayon in here, and you can see it kind of made my finger yellow. So the theory is you put this on the ram. Whenever the ram mounts the ewe, he leaves a yellow mark on her back. Now, if we had multiple breeding rams, we could use different colors. That way we would know who was doing what with who. But we're just going to use one this year, and hopefully he can cover everything in a timely manner. Hopefully everything takes, and then we will know when they're bred and who they're bred to, and we can mark that on our calendar so we know when the lambs are going to be born. All right, so as I mentioned before, I have never used this product before, but I do know that you need to take this crayon out of here. This is Rupert. I'm gonna tell you guys about Rupert here in just a second. So hang around to the end of the video and I'll introduce this guy to you all. This thing is not going on Rupert, but he sure does like a head scratching, and his head's a little bloody because it looks like he's been running into some stuff. Anyways, we're gonna take this crayon out of here, take the protective cover off of it so that it will mark better. Quit. Okay, so we took this off. The crayon is exposed. So you can see if I take this and put it on his head, it's gonna get some yellow on there. So that's how you know it's working. Theoretically, I believe this goes to the front of the ram and then it buckles around them. We'll see if I can put it on. I'm gonna walk him over and let him in with the ewes. When I get there, I'll cut these straps off, but I'm actually gonna use this as kind of a leash for now to walk him over. I took his collar off. We've had some problems in the past with when breeding season rolls around, usually rams and bucks, goats, their neck will swell up. If they've got a collar on, we actually had one named Rumble who he almost died because his neck swelled up when he went into rut and it started cutting off his circulation. So took his collar off. Rupert here doesn't have a collar, so he's good to go. That's something you might think about though. If your rams or bucks do have collars or harnesses of any kind, you might want to take those off during rutting season because they get to be pretty active and their neck swells up. It's kind of a natural thing. You'll notice it with like white-tailed deer, stuff like that. So. All right, Creole is in the pen with the girls. We got him up here in the barn paddock. I'm gonna follow him for just a second and see what his initial reaction is to the girls. See if he's immediately interested, which would mean that some of them might be getting close to going into heat. So I'm gonna run him up there and we'll see what he does. Breeding process is kind of a strange thing, but it's necessary because we don't make money on our farm unless our animals have baby animals. So this crayon is going to let us know if they're making baby animals and when they should have their baby animals. That way we can plan ahead, because failure to plan is planning to fail. And we don't want to fail. We want to make money on our hobby farm. We hope you do too. So tune in next time at Porter Valley Ranch. We'll tell you how this is going. We'll tell you all about the rest of our plans for the future, for the rest of the fall, going into breeding season and then through lambing season. It's an exciting time of year. We'll see you guys then.